Hello, beach friends. I hope you had a good week and are ready to do some beach exploring. We're going to be walking the beaches of Fort Myers Beach today, and I was able to catch a really nice low tide. So we'll be walking quite far from shore at some point. And we're going to see all sorts of living sea creatures that one might encounter while walking around a Southwest Florida beach at low tide. And of course, we're probably going to find a couple of seashells along the way. They won't all be keepers, but I suspect I won't be disappointed. So if you're ready to find out what's out there to discover, let's go to the beach. So here we are on Fort Myers Beach. We are on the very south end of the beach. I happen to like this particular part. The tide is going out at this point. It is in the afternoon, so it's still a little bit on the warm side. But the real main event is the low tide, which is why I'm here. And we are going to get to see a whole bunch of critters. This is a 9-armed sea star. Started over there, made its way to there, and it doesn't look, I think it got tired. So we're not going to dilly-dally. We're going to help this little critter, there you go, friend, into the water, and we're going to keep looking to see what we can find. So this is a little angel wing, but this is a false angel wing. They don't get as big as the true angel wings, and the pattern does not go all the way down the shell. Now here you can see in the channel, so in between the two islands, which is Lover's Key across there, and then I'm standing on Fort Myers Beach, and you can see that the water is rushing out. The tide is going out, and it's really creating pretty severe disturbance here. We're going to talk about what this can do to beaches next week when we go to Blind Pass. But for right now, I want to talk about some of our shorebirds. So many of the Florida shorebirds and seabirds that nest on the open beach, like these guys, these are skimmers. They lay their eggs in shallow scrapes in the sand or actually in seashells. Now the nests are so well camouflaged that you could accidentally trample on the little babies or the eggs, so we do put up areas that are for the birds only to protect them. Now these guys are skimmers, and they will come down to the water to cool off, and then they will go back and sit on their eggs. Sitting on their eggs actually keeps the eggs cool so they don't bake in that really hot Florida sun. So that's what these guys are doing. The skimmers are one of my favorite birds. They're a little funny looking, and their lower beak is actually longer than their upper beak, which helps them as they swim along and they skim along the water, hoping they're going to scoop up some fish or some other kind of food. So those are some of our seabirds. Please don't chase them. They need their rest and to protect their eggs. Here we have a seashell. It is a run-of-the-mill Florida fighting conch. Nothing particularly awesome about this shell, just a regular old Florida fighting conch. And this is an Atlantic giant cockle. Something to be said about the bivalves. You can kind of appreciate both sides of the shell. Now you will notice there's not a whole lot going on the beach up there. There's not really a lot of shells. So I'm walking along in the water, and that's what's going to happen at low tide. It's going to expose more beach, and so you can kind of be out in the deeper water. Now another thing, I do not walk along picking up shell after shell after shell. I pick up a lot of things that I don't necessarily want to show you. So I don't want you to think that I just come here and I always get really lucky. I spend quite a long time here looking for goodies and putting these videos together for you. So that, my friends, is a really fabulous crown conch. Just gorgeous, a little bit of color, nice and clean, a little bit of spikes on there. So that is a fantastic crown conch. And this is a sunray Venus clam, and something stuck out to me. There's something kind of moving around, and there it is. There's a little crabby in there. I don't know what kind, but it seems to me that this little fella or gal found the shell first. So I am not going to remove them from the shell. I'm going to just put that right back where I found it. And what do we, okay, see, just as well. Here's a keeper one. And I really love the way that these clean up. So at the end of the video, we're going to take a look at what this looks like. I'm only going to clean half of it so we can do a real nice comparison. So stick around to the end of the video and we'll take a look at what that looks like when half of it is clean. And I know it's a little bit harder to see through the water, but I was able to spy the dark areas in the sand and found this live sand dollar. They do have that velvety kind of covering on top and then all those little hairs on the bottom. And then the center, the dead center, that's going to be the mouth, also known as Aristotle's lantern. And all those little hairs kind of help the critter move, and they also push food into the mouth underneath there. So that is a live sand dollar. And I'm just going to kind of tuck it back in. There you go. There you go, friend. And another one. So I don't know, can you see the little dark areas? I'm not going to pick it up. I know it's alive. So sometimes you're not necessarily looking for the shell, but the actual dark areas that the shell leaves. Now this, we're only going to be able to take a quick peek. Look at how beautiful. So that's an urchin, but it's one of the lighter ones. And so it's like a light purple. And I don't like to disturb them. It starts dropping its shells. So just want to take a quick peek and put it back where I found it. Now this, it was like an urchin farm. There were urchins everywhere. And I really kind of wanted to capture what it looked like underwater. So I got up on the beach, got my underwater camera out, and just kind of taking a look here. Yeah, I'm definitely going to stick to the water, not all that much on the beach. So then I wanted to kind of get in here. Let's take a look and see what we can see. Well, not what I expected, which is kind of a bummer. And it happens too with snorkeling. You just don't have the visibility. And you may be asking yourself why. Well, that's because in this area, we have the Caloosahatchee River. Now, here is a map so you can see what I'm talking about. So the river is going to be freshwater, and it flows down from Lake Okeechobee down this river, and this is called the Caloosahatchee. I couldn't say that for months. So the Caloosahatchee River will bring fresh water, and it mixes in with the salt water, and that's what kind of makes this water cloudy. So sometimes in the spring, before rainy season has come, you can see really, really great. But unfortunately, once the rainy season comes, it starts getting a little bit cloudy. So I'm sorry we couldn't see that any better, but it is what it is. I tried. Oh, looks like it's a great day for those sunray Venus clams. Another one of those lovely clams. I do really like them. And the calicos. All right, there's a better shot. So all of those little white bunches of shells, those are being held by urchins. And so there's just tons of them hanging out here with their little shells. So I'm just kind of walking. I can see enough to definitely not step on them. I can, weave around them. But they were everywhere. It was really, really cool. I was bummed I couldn't show you what that kind of looked like from under the water, but it was really, really neat. I've never seen that before. And then in between the urchins, it looks like I found a really fabulous pear whelk. Oh, that's gorgeous. Really nice size, beautiful, strong colors on it. It just needs a little bit of cleaning up, but really beautiful pear whelk. All right. All right, in between the urchins, what else we got? Fantastic. I guess they don't like the pear whelks. Hey, that works for me. So we got another pear whelk here. Really beautiful. Oh, and I do see a banded tulip, but you know what? The urchin got it first. I felt like a little resistance, so I just left the shell where it is. But this guy is filled with a fish. What? Now that, I don't know what kind of fish, but it's the same one that was hiding in a lightning whelk not too long ago. Whoop. Tried to give a little more water so we could take a better look, but it had different ideas. So we'll console ourselves with this beautiful hinged giant Atlantic cockle. All right, still hanging out with the urchins. Another crown conch that's got a slipper on it. So I have a question. I don't know. Now, I know the slippers don't, if you took it off the shell, it probably wouldn't die. I don't know. Is it bad for them? I don't know. So I didn't keep it. I wasn't really sure. Here's another one. Here's another shot. Normally I wouldn't show you, but there is a little slipper on there. So can they be safely removed? I don't know. If anybody else knows, if you wouldn't mind leaving me a comment, I'd really appreciate it because I just don't know. So I err on the side of caution and just leave all of the critters I find at the beach. So we're back in the farm of urchins, trying to see if there's anything hiding. Oh, it's alive. All right. That is a live lightning whelk. That they call it the tail, but that's actually where the front of the animal comes out. That black part is the body, also known as the foot, and then that little disc looking thing, that's the operculum. So sorry to disturb you, friend. You didn't look like you were too far buried. Oh boy. Oh yeah, here's a whole little ecosystem. Definitely not taking that. Oh, I think I see another lightning whelk. Yeah. Great. But look, there's another one of those little fish in it. I don't know. Some of those little fish are having a good old time hiding in the shells. Any keepers? No. Okay, there we go. There's a little keeper lightning whelk. Fantastic. So the urchins are getting to the shells first, but at least I'm finding a few. Another lightning whelk. All right, and it's alive, but check this one out. It's eating a cross-barred Venus clam. So lightning whelks do like to eat clams. Looks like this one's finishing up its meal. And so that could be the culprit of a lot of the empty clam shells you find on the beach. A banded tulip. Fantastic. Oh, drat. Yep. A little slipper. And again, I'm not really sure. And I really do have plenty of banded tulips. So I'm going to leave that here at the beach. Hopefully I'll know better maybe the next time I go. Now that is gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Big spikes on it. I know it's going to clean up just fine. Oh, beautiful Florida fighting conch. And this I actually thought was like a living baby's ear, but it's just a surf clam. Womp womp. That water can really make things look different. So, and I kind of like the surf clams because they're thinner in those little areas. You kind of see through them. So, not a moon snail, just a surf clam. And there is another pretty big lightning whelk. I can see it's alive, so I am not going to monkey around with it. You can see in the front of it, its little black body is kind of sticking out. And then the other part, this is a different one. And they're quite big. So I guess in theory, that means if you really kind of get out there, those big shells are out there too. Haven't found one yet. Just these living critters. Here is yet another one. Beautiful. So all the critters are out doing their thing. And we have another critter. So this is a live fighting conch. Oh my God. Their little eye stalks kill me. They're so cute. So this is one of the live sea snails. We're going to speed this up and see if here we go. Speed this up a little bit and see if it's going to come out and come out fighting, come out swinging. That's perhaps why they're called the fighting conch. I think they're so cute. So that is one of our little sea friends that we can find down here. And we'll just leave it where we found it. Wow. Okay, so there's another urchin that does not have shells all over it. Look how active. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Oh, I think they're so cool. So again, because sand dollars and urchins are kind of in the same family, its mouth on the bottom is also called Aristotle's lantern. So put that little critter back where it is. Now, just to show you, when it gets to be low tide down here, you can really get out in the water. So I have lots and lots of beach to cover. I'm not sticking too much. Whoop, there's a little something in the water there. not sticking too much to the sand. And that would be my recommendation. Here is another pear whelk. If you notice that there's nothing going on up on the beach, just walk in the water. The shells are there, and at low tide, they're just easier to get to. Now, all the way out there, there is a little sandbar, and we are going to make our way over there just to see what other kind of critters and creatures. I mean, it's far. It is out there, but I do see other people, so I know it's shallow enough. And I also know that the tide is going out. So I got some time. I'm going to make my way over there. And in the meantime, I'm going to give you guys some beach time. Okay, I have made it to that little sandbar, and just to show you how far out you can be, it's really kind of wild. Now, most of the beaches down here are relatively shallow anyway, but at low tide, you can really go out far. Oh, here is a live giant Atlantic cockle. I know that thing inside the shell, it's called its foot, although on those cockles, it looks like a tongue. Just like a big tongue sticking out. I was kind of hoping this guy would kind of move around a little bit. They use that foot to really kind of push themselves out of the sand. That's how they got unburied. And here it looks like it's biting its tongue, but I guess it's really biting its foot. Oh, yay! So here is a keeper sand dollar. Very dramatically different from the living ones. They come, yeah, they can be white. This one will clean up just fine, but they do vary in color depending on how long they've been out there. This one looks like it's been out there for a little while, but I think it kind of means that it's a really sturdy shell since it's kind of survived all this time, kind of getting algae and green. I'm trying to remove some shell matter from one of those keyholes, but either way, beautiful sand dollar. Oh, and I got a shell running away from me there. So it's a little hermit crab. Very active little hermit crab that really wants no part of saying hi. It's got some errands to run, so I'm not going to keep it. There you go, friend. Oh, another fighting conch. Is it empty? Fantastic. All right. That's another very good looking Florida fighting conch. And a Dosenia, and I'm going to go with elegant Dosenia because I can see it is evident there are little ridges on it. So unlike the disc Dosenia, the elegant Dosenia, you can see those ridges. Oh, a very nice little sand dollar. Again, that'll clean up just great. Beautiful. And another, yes, fantastic. And so like I said, they will vary in color. Sometimes they're white and sometimes they're going to be a little bit more brown, but they clean up just fine either way. Fantastic. Another fighting conch. Excellent. It's got a whole bunch of slime on there, but that is no match for bleach. Bleach will get that off like magic. Oh, all right. See the little black spot? So I see a piece of a sand dollar. And yeah, it was just a piece, but I wanted to show you. Sometimes for the sand dollars, you're actually looking for those little black keyholes. See what I mean? You can kind of see the black keyholes. And yeah, we got another keeper sand dollar. Fantastic. So that is a 5-hole keyhole sand dollars. There's a bunch of different ones, but those are the ones we find down here. I mean, you can really get out there. So tide is just about dead low, almost. So I'm not going to dilly-dally too long out here, but I was kind of hoping maybe I'd find something on the big side, empty preferably. Here we have another really big living lightning whelk. And a keeper, a prickly cockle, a Florida prickly cockle. They're relatively common, but I still think they're fabulous little shells. and a channeled duck clam. Now you'll notice that on the right of the shell kind of flares out a little bit. So when the critter is alive, that's the area that it actually uses to siphon. So it'll pull water in and out and filter feed. So that's a channeled duck clam. And I suspected it was alive, and I was not wrong. Another one of those living fighting conch snails. We saw one earlier. We don't need to harass this one. We'll just say quick hi, keep it moving. Whoa, look at that. Gorgeous lightning whelk. So it is alive right there. You can kind of see its little ear. That's part of the head. So that's what I mean. That pointy part, even though we call it the tail, that is where the front of the animal comes out. And then this I just thought was interesting because that one on the left there, much smaller, but look at this hunk of lightning whelk. So that is a chunk of a lightning whelk shell. And I can't even imagine how big that was when it was alive, just massive. And look at the size compared to the two. So they don't really know how old they get. I've read anywhere up to like 15 years old, some of the shells, but some of the research on them isn't as cut and dry as I would like. And I do see these trails here, and that is a living olive. So that little critter is alive. Now that is the back of the shell, even though we kind of look at it as the top. And then the critter comes out of the other side. So that's a live little olive. And I'm going to quickly just kind of speed it up so we can kind of see how it moves and it gets itself back into the sand. And so you'll notice that it wraps its body around its shell, and that's why a lot of times when you find them, they're shiny. So just there it goes. It's going to bury itself. And they're voracious hunters. They like eating. So all these guys, these are all little olives, all these little marks in the sand. They have terrible sense of direction. I mean, they don't know where they're going. But at this point, I've done what I'm going to do out here. Time to make it back to the mainland. I do get a little nervous when the tide starts coming in. I don't want to get stuck anywhere. Another sand dollar. Fantastic. Now that one didn't come home with me. I did gift a couple of my sand dollars to another sheller who was on the beach. So sun is starting to come down. Tide is coming in, but I mean, it's going to be a while before it really starts getting higher. It's quite low. It's a negative low today. And a little olive in the mud. Yep, looks good to me. And when you see a shell like that, just kind of sitting there, there's a really good chance that there's a critter in it. If it's in the water, it's just one of those things. And unfortunately, there is a critter. There's a little crab inside of this crown conch, and too bad. It really has kind of cool color. I would have liked to have seen how that cleaned up, but finders keepers. There you go, buddy. Now, this is super cool. So this is a sea cucumber, and one of the weirder things about sea cucumbers is they self-eviscerate. And what that means is they literally expel. So if they get stressed out, they push their organs out of their body, their digestive, respiratory, circulatory, and reproductive organs. Now they do this to either kind of gross out whatever's trying to eat them, or perhaps it's because they want to get rid of parasites that they have, but they can literally push their organs outside their body and then they grow them back in a few weeks. How wild is that? So it's a critter. I know it looks like a big old piece of vegetable, but that is a sea cucumber. And a banded tulip. Is it empty? It is not. We have here, now I can tell that is a long-wristed hermit crab. And these little guys are quite sneaky because they'll put those little wrists into the shell and snip off the operculum, and then they can start having their little meal. So it is a crab eats snail, snail eats snail, all sorts of things going on down here at the beach. And here we have another couple little crabs. Right, so this isn't a little drill. Cute little thing. Cute little crab for a cute little shell. And even this, so this is a fly speck cerith. This is a shell that sometimes can maybe trip people up for a Wentel trap. So it's not a Wentel trap. It's a fly speck seraph, but the itty bitty little crab. All right, we'll let you guys just hang out. There you go. We're going to keep moseying along. Okay, garbage, no good. We are going to remove that from the beach post haste. And a sea star. So in the beginning of the video, we saw the 9-armed sea star. This critter only has 5. This is the short spine sea star. Fun little critters. It's kind of doing its thing. All right, we're seeing some shells. Fantastic. All right, that is a banded tulip. It's not really in great shape, but just considering I haven't found 30 of them like I would do on Kais, I'm going to go ahead and keep it. Now this one, let's see. Is it empty? It is indeed. Now that one is actually in much better shape. So probably just hold on to that one beautiful banded tulip. Oh, another. Okay, so this is an angel wing. This is called a fallen angel wing. So it is broken on the left, but they're on the right. The shell has a little bit of like a wave to it. And so that's what you're going to look for. That is a fallen angel wing. This is your more traditional angel wing. You notice the pattern goes all the way from left to right, right to left, depending on which side of the shell you find. So that is a regular old angel wing shell. And since we're on the topic of angel wings, ooh, this looks like it's going to be a good one. Oh, and so if the tide were higher, I might not have seen that, but because it was kind of in that shallow water, and when the tide goes out, it just exposes more stuff. Gorgeous angel wing. What? All right, apparently I'm in the angel wing section of the beach. Works for me. All right, that one. I mean, barely chipped. I think it's beautiful. We're definitely going to hold on to that as well. Oh, another sand dollar. Terrific. Oh, well, it's a little beat up on the side, but still, I think that's great. Great looking sand dollar. Another fun thing to find at the beach. An auger. So that is an auger. That's actually a really nice auger. And crabs love those shells. So be real careful when you collect those augers. And here is a rose petal talon. Just wouldn't be a trip to Fort Myers Beach without finding at least one rose petal talon. Oh, all right. So that's a juvenile Florida fighting conch. Gorgeous. A little piece of barnacle in it. No problem. But the pattern on that. Oh, awesome. And a lettered olive. Fantastic. Nice and shiny. It's got its point. Beautiful lettered olive. Yeah, sun's going down. It's so pretty. And I always tell people, if you do happen to go to the beach, look for a sunset, don't forget to check what's behind you, because a lot of times there can be a really beautiful color and cloud show going on behind you. So just be aware of all your surroundings. You don't want to miss any of the beautiful stuff that goes on. Now, there's a little bit of matter on the beach. I mean, it's really just kind of crushed up things. So wasn't too much really in the beach, although did happen to find this turkey wing. And of course I scratched my head. I've already walked past this beach. There's other people that have walked past. Why is this turkey wing still here? Well, either way, I'm going to go ahead and bring that turkey wing home along with this yellow prickly cockle. And it's hinged. Yay. So that's another one of the prickly cockles. Terrific. Could it be? Is it another crown conch that's a keeper? All right. Nothing in that barnacle. It's a little beat up. It's got pretty decent color on it. It's a little bit crowny. Terrific. Another crown conch. And a spiny jewel box. Not too spiny. It's, it's a little bit spiny, but still really cool little shell. I had a hard time dragging myself off the beach. It was one of those evenings. It was just so beautiful. Nice and and that's the moon there. You see the moon rising up over Lover's Key. So it really was pretty. So Tide's still low. It's 88, but sun's going down. Time for me to head home. Like I said, I just thought it was so pretty. Seeing the beautiful clouds reflect off the water, people enjoying themselves on their motor crafts. Oh, it's just beautiful. I love it. So the things we removed from the beach, that piece of rubbery stuff, that weighed in at 1.1 ounces. So in total, I've removed, since I've kept track in March, a little over 5 pounds of garbage. And then let's take a look at some of the fun stuff we got to take from the beach. So we did get a couple of those angel wings, the channel duck clam and that Dulcinea, some of the Florida fighting conchs, that one real pretty juvenile, bunch of those giant Atlantic cockles. We got a hinged yellow prickly cockle, bunch of the sunray Venus clams. We got a couple of rose petal talons and a spiny jewel box. We got one lightning whelk, 2 olives, a couple augurs, a turkey wing. We have those sand dollars, the banded tulip, the crown conchs, awesome, as well as the pear whelks. So it wasn't a ton, but it was still really, really fun. And saying hi to all the critters is always really a great time too. Now, I told you stick around to the end because we're going to clean up that one hinged sunray Venus clam. So I broke them in two. One of them I just left alone. It's still a little crusty. You probably could maybe, I don't know, scrape a little bit of that periostracum off, but I like to soak it in bleach. And so it's really, really easy. It looks like I could probably replace my bleach. I do reuse it. I haven't found anything else that works as good as that. So that's still my go-to method right now. If I do find anything, I promise I'll let you know. Patreons, thank you so very much, especially these days, for monetarily supporting me. I really, really appreciate it. And everybody else who enjoys my content and comes along, thank you so very much. Next week, we're headed to Blind Pass. They closed Blind Pass. I needed to go check out why. So we're going to go see that next Sunday. In the meantime, you have yourself a fantastic week. I'll see you again next Sunday.